Back here on Get Up, it's time for Perk's predictions, starting with the Lakers and Grizzlies. That series is upon us. Perk, the Lakers win the series if
Anthony Davis could dominate him and D'Angelo Russell. We know what a 38 LeBron James is going to give him. AD, can he dominate the matchup with Jaren Jackson Jr.? D'Angelo Russell, can he find his way? Don't worry about his money that he's going to get this offseason and dominate and play well at the point guard position.
All right, well done. Grizzlies will win if
Jaren Jackson Jr. could be dominant. I mean, missing Steven Adams and Brandon Clark is a huge loss for the Memphis Grizzlies. If Jaren Jackson Jr. could stay on the floor without being in foul trouble and be one of those guys that could go out there and get them 20, 10, and 4 blocks, the Grizzlies could win this series.
All right, Perk, let's hear it. Pick your winner.
I got the Lakers. I got the Lakers in 6. And solely because of LeBron James, all right? Make no mistake about it. We could talk about all the young superstars around the league, but this is the guy that averaged 29, 8, and 7, and still is playing like he's in his prime. And when it comes down to the wing position with the Memphis Grizzlies and the people that they have on the perimeter, I don't see anyone over there that's going to stop or slow down a LeBron James.
You guys know, they say styles make fights. I've been waiting for this moment all week. Tim Bontemps, do you agree? Why or why not?
Now listen, I love my man Perk. We've done this a couple times. He knows what I'm going to say. Now, I do think Perk is right in that this series, in a lot of ways, comes down to Anthony Davis if you're the Lakers, right? If Anthony Davis is the best player on the court, the Lakers have a chance to win this series. But to me, this comes down to discipline for the Memphis Grizzlies. If Dillon Brooks is disciplined in his offensive shooting selection and Jaren Jackson Jr. is disciplined in his fouling, Memphis is the better team. Memphis should win this series. But if Anthony Davis could dominate inside, get Jaren Jackson in foul trouble, I think the Lakers can win this series. But I don't think they're going to.
Han, jump in.
Well, again, you know, X factors in series. This one's going to be father time, and it's no one wants to predict the demise of LeBron James. But when you look at the schedule, it's good for him early on because you get 2 days off between games 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. But as the series goes on, and you expect this to be a long series, if you're going to win it, now it's every other. And for LeBron James, who had that ankle injury, there's 32 minutes a game to finish out the season, and the biggest concern is going to be about how much is left in his battery after having to play through a play-in and having to battle into overtime in a play-in. The way they had to fight just to get into the play-in at the end of the season, does he have enough left, a tire on the tread? That's the biggest concern. But for the Lakers, if they win this series because they're making three-point shots, which they became a much better three-point shooting team after the All-Star break, after all the
trades. To your
trades.
point, really quick, Alan, that 5 games in 9 days, that's such a massive advantage to me for Memphis as the series goes along. I think the Lakers need to be up 2-1 after Game 3 to win this series. They get up early, I think they got a chance. If this thing extends and they're down at that point, I think the advantage goes Memphis as it goes along.
Hey, Perk, who do I have to talk to about getting you in studio? Because I know the energy is about to come off of this conversation. Come on, let's hear it.
I just want to know, what are we talking about? Like, we're talking about LeBron James. We're talking about a guy, something that we have never seen before when it comes down to taking care of his body, right? This guy's not human. We saw him tell his own report about when he was coming back from the ankle injury. This guy's not slowing down anytime soon. We're talking about a guy that spent $2 million on his body. And can someone explain to me, with the additions that the Lakers have made since the trade deadline, how are the Memphis Grizzlies a better team than the Los Angeles Lakers without Steven Adams and Brandon Clark? Where's the disadvantage at when you think about guys like Vanderbilt and Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, Dennis Schroeder? Do I have Malik Beasley? They got upgraded. They
Shot clock, we got to give him a chance to respond. Shot clock, Bob, go Von Bontemps. Here we go.
A couple things for you, Perk. We saw the Lakers go to overtime against a injury-depleted and suspension-depleted Minnesota Timberwolves team on Tuesday. We saw LeBron James look exhausted at the end of that game, and all the guys they traded for were benched down the stretch of that game because they were not getting it done. So there's my answers on that.
Bob, go on.
And also, again, not disparaging LeBron James and everything he does to get to this point in his career. And by the way, Zion Williamson, pay attention, because that's who should be your mentor on how to be a great player. Take care of your body. But he has told us how tired he is. He has said it every day. He's like, like James Brown at the end of the song, at the end of the concert where they come with the cape, they put it over him because he's exhausted, and then he's got to do the encore, so he throws it off. LeBron has been doing that, but he's going to run out of energy at some point somehow. Yes, and he's dealing with the issue, the ankle. He needs other players to step up and get it done.
Wake up.
He has told us that.
Wake up. What you got?
Listen, here's the thing. Rui Hachimura was the guy that they traded for. He was in that game, in the Minnesota game, towards the end of the game. We forget about a guy. We forget about a guy. We forget about a guy by the name of Austin Reeves, who's also a baller out there. But when it comes down to Anthony Davis and LeBron James walking into this matchup, I don't think that Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant is the better duo in this series. And we have seen the second part of this season, Anthony Davis, by the way, who just got Western Conference Player of the Month, has been the best player in the Western Conference. The best player. It's never been a question about his skill set. It's never been a question about his impact on both ends of the floor. The question surrounding AD has been, can he be available? And right now, he looks 100% healthy, and he's available. So I don't understand where all this Lakers slander is coming from when they are missing Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. Those are huge pieces for their interior.
Okay, Perk, I need a yes or no real quick. Perk, do you think that the Grizzlies are the deeper team, yes or no?
No, not right now. Not without Steven Adams and Brandon Clark, I don't.
Okay, because I know part of your argument, Bontemps, is that they've got more depth. And to me, the idea that the Memphis Grizzlies are disciplined and smart is just as big as the experience and sort of the stamina over the course of a series for the Lakers, in particular when it comes to LeBron James. Like, those are the two swing points for either team in my mind.
Totally. I think it's discipline for the Grizzlies. If the Grizzlies are disciplined, I think they win. And I think to Big Perk's point, if Anthony Davis is the best player on the court, the Lakers absolutely can win this series. If he's dominant, if he's the player he's been, to Perk's point, they're good enough to win this series, but he's got to be that guy, and I do think they still need some help from Memphis to do it.
Quick.
Siri agrees.
I know, Siri's jumping all in the conversation. Be quiet, Siri. We don't need you right now. All right, we've got so much more on this conversation. I think my Siri jumped in. Bontemps Siri's jumped in. Tonight, though, we've got the West 8th place game between the Thunder and the T-Wolves. Winner survives, loser goes home. And, of course, the winner will get the Nuggets to start the series on Sunday. Coverage begins at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN and the app. Coming up, after another disappointing playoff loss for the Cowboys, is Dak on the hot seat this season? You have to hear Teddy Bruschi's answer to this question. That's coming up next as Get Up keeps moving.